Hello and welcome to the Little Drops of Wonderful channel. This is my place on the internet to talk about all things crochet and knitting and crafting related, all of the things that I love. My name is Ali and I live in the very southeast of England in the county of Kent with my husband, who is currently working in the room above me, typing ridiculously loudly. I can hear him typing through the desk and through the floor, down through the ceiling. So if you can hear any tippity-tappeting, that's my husband working upstairs, and our two daughters who are 16 and 12 and have in the last half hour both gone to school and college. So I'm on my own in the living room ready to film my first podcast of 2023. Happy New Year everybody. I hope your year is getting off to a really good start and that you had a really good time over the festive Christmas period. We had a lovely time. And I usually really love January as a month and a kind of window to a new year, usually. But this year has got off to a pretty difficult start. It just feels like we've had one tricky thing after another, and it's only the 16th of January as I'm filming this. We were just talking, Dan and I, this morning, saying it just feels like this year's been really hard. We're not even sort of really halfway through January yet. So hopefully we're just getting it all out the way and things will calm down a bit as we move into the year. Fingers crossed. Nothing major, just lots of really annoying, irritating, stressful things that are all just building up. Anyway, a nice sit down, a cup of tea, which I've actually forgotten to make, so I might have to pause and make myself a cup of tea in a little while, and a talk about knitting and crochet and crafty stuff is just what I need on this very rainy, grey January Monday morning. It's about quarter past nine in the morning. It's a very dull day, so hopefully the light's okay. I'm going to talk about the Strictly Sockalong right at the end because that's now finished. The 2022 Strictly Sockalong is now over. I've got 9 more prizes to give out. That's a lot of prizes. So I thought what I'd do is put it right at the end. So if you didn't take part in Strictly Sockalong and you don't want to have to fast forward, it's a very old-fashioned way to put it, jump forward that bit. I'm going to put it right even after and finally at the end, so you can skip there if you want to find out if you're a winner. Are you a winner? And blah, blah, blah. So I've put all the chapter timestamp things in the description box below, and you'll be able to see all the different sections and jump to whatever you want to see. So let's get started straight away with some finished objects. So I've got a few finished objects of different crafts. So the first one is crochet. I have finally, after I think 6, maybe 7 years, finished my corner to corner crochet blanket. This is made using all 4-ply or fingering weight scraps and minis, and I think I used a 3.25mm hook. Is that what I used? I think I did. It was either that or a 3.5, and it's corner to corner moss stitch. I used a couple of different tutorials for this because I made a corner to corner crochet moss stitch rectangle. So what is the best way to do this? Maybe if I move the camera back a bit and then stand up and fall over. Here we go. So here it is. It's not ginormous, but here is how it looks in all its finished rectangular corner to corner glory. And I finished it off with a very simple border, but I think I've messed it up a bit. I don't know if you can see here. I have blocked it, but I think I've made the border too tight, so it's curling a bit. Now I need to make a decision about whether or not, hang on, let's move the camera again. Probably never going to get it back in the position that I had it. Oh, it's close enough, isn't it? Close enough. So to show you, I love how the moss stitch shows off hand-dyed yarn in crochet. I think it's really lovely. And I love what a mishmash of different minis and colours this is, and how the different yarns work in different ways. I really love it. But yes, so I did a really simple border. I just picked up stitches all around the edge and continued in moss stitch, basically, which is where you single crochet, US terms, double crochet UK terms, chain 1, single crochet in the chain space below. You just keep doing that. But I think I've worked the border too tightly. I think I should have had more stitches in the border because the corners are curling a little bit even after blocking, and I think it will get worse as a, because I think yarn, I know you can block things and it can solve a multitude of issues, but it does go back, doesn't it? So I just need to decide whether that bothers me enough to rip it back and do it again or not. At the moment it doesn't bother me, so I'm going to put this out in use and see how we get on. Feels so weird to have this out as a blanket finished and in use rather than a blanket being worked on because it's been so long in the making. So that is my corner to corner Crochet Moss Stitch blanket. My next finished thing are my second pair of Strictly socks. So I made 2 pairs of Strictly socks this year. The yarn that I used is from Back to Blighty. She's not dying at the moment. My lovely friend Becky over at the Back to Blighty podcast. It's called Fame. It was a sock set a few years ago and I love it. So you've got this gorgeous colour here, this gorgeous speckly colour, and then the neon pink to go with it. So I did a few rounds of, what kind of rib did I do? 2x2 twisted rib, I think is what I've done there. And I used Jenny's surprisingly stretchy cast on, which I've never used before. It's a little bit of a pain to do, but once you get into the sort of hang of it, it's really good. And it really is incredibly stretchy. In fact, I would say it's too stretchy because when I put these on, they feel really baggy around the top, like they're gonna slip down. So I don't think I would use that again for me. You know, for me it doesn't work. I think I need to continue to find my perfect cast on for socks. So let me know what your favourite cast on for socks for a good bit of stretch, but not so much that they're going to roll down or, you know, sag down like that. I also decided to do something a bit different with the heel. So I normally favour a heel flap and gusset. God, it's really blowing out this colour on the screen because if I hold it back, that's a realistic colour. Realistic? True representation. And yeah, so I did a short row heel, which I don't normally do because I wanted to try that. And I did a shadow wrap heel using a really good tutorial by Denise at Earth Tones Girl. Sorry, just having to cut out some coughing there. She's got 2 tutorials. One is the full shadow wrap heel tutorial, and then she does an additional one for how to do that with a contrast yarn. So I followed that, and I wasn't brilliant at it, and I haven't done a particularly neat job, but I do like how they look, and they do fit really well, actually. So I think with a bit of practice, maybe, if I could neaten that up. But I think this year is going to be the year of discovering which kind of short row or afterthought style heel I prefer. I have done fish lips kiss heels in the past, so I might give that another go. Yeah, so short row heel experiments this year. I've got a few self-striping yarns that I want to use, so they would be perfect for experimenting with that kind of heel, I think. So if you've got any suggestions, leave them in the comments. Oh, and I should say the pattern. So I used Kay Jane's umbrella toe because that's my favourite toe, and just a general vanilla sock with the Earth Tones Girl shadow wrap heel tutorial. But the actual pattern here, the texture, I made it up. Well, I didn't make it up. I used a stitch dictionary, the Vogue the Vogue Dictionary of Knitting Stitches from like the 1980s or something. And because it's all written for in the round, all written for knitting flat, I adapted it to make it for knitting in the round. Took me a little while, probably longer than it should have done. But I managed to work it out, and I really like the texture it's given. It's really, really nice. So I'd probably use that again. It's cute, isn't it? Nice little texture there. So those are my second pair of Strictly socks. Done. Then I have 2 more finished things, and this time it's not knitting or crochet, it's cross stitch. So just before Christmas, I got a little bit into cross stitch and I got a bit carried away, and I've been really, really enjoying it. And as a result, I have finished a couple more cross stitches. So I finished a tiny little mini Christmas house in the last episode. and I was working on a mandala design by The World in Stitches. It's a pattern by The World in Stitches. She's on Etsy. I will of course link her underneath. And I finished it. Now, I finished it, but I haven't finished it. So I've got to cut this and make it all neat and give it a wash and an iron and stuff. But I have finished the mandala. So it's a Christmas mandala. I love the colours of this. I just love it. And I loved working on it. It was so relaxing. And I just really love the finished results. I'm really looking forward to putting that up either on my bookshelf or up on the wall or something in the run up to next Christmas. So yeah, that is by, like I say, The World in Stitches. I've got some threads left and I've still obviously got my chart here. And I have to say, I bought it as a kit and I was really impressed with it. There was so much good information. The chart is really clear. The threads are well organised. And for a beginner like me, it was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and I've thought from my very inexperienced opinion that the kit was really professional, and I really enjoyed it. So I'd definitely buy another one from her. Maybe I'll treat myself for my birthday. So that's my next finished object. And I finished another cross stitch, but it's a really mini one. I've had it for ages, and while I was on a bit of a cross stitch roll, I thought, I'm going to do it. I'm going to finish this next one. And this is properly all finished. So I worked on it in a normal size hoop, but it came with this little display hoop, and it's like a flexi hoop is what they're called, I think. And it's really quite clever. It's kind of bendy and it makes it fit really tightly. So it's an octopus. She does these in different colours as well, the Etsy seller that sells these. Oh, I love him. I think I'm going to put him up in the bathroom. So this is from... Oh, who's it from? Oh, I haven't written it down. I'll look it up and put it on the screen because I can't remember. It's on the tip of my mind, but I can't quite remember what the shop is called. So I will put it on the screen. But I'm so pleased with this little kit. It was really mini, so it was really quick and really effective to sort of see. It was fun to sort of see when you start doing it, it looks like nothing, and then slowly the octopus appears, and I just felt really chuffed with myself. So yeah, I'm going to hang that up in my bathroom. I'm really pleased with that. And I've got 3 more cross stitch that I've got lined up, and I'm so excited to work on them. The first one is a design that Karen at Weedy Flower Creations has done, and it's a very special chicken meets Strictly design. I will try to put a picture up on the screen of what it looks like. I've bought all my threads. They're here. Got them from Wool Warehouse. That was interesting because I've never bought, obviously I buy yarn all the time, but I've never gone out and bought threads before, so that was a whole different experience. So I've got that one that I want to work on before the next Strictly season. I had a gift from Leslie of a kit from Cotton and Twine. Can't remember if I showed this last time. So I've got that all sort of set up to go. I found the centre of my thing. I've got my threads all ready. And this is a chicken design. Chicken, lay a little egg for me. It's really pretty. And it comes with a canvas and the fabric, so you can display it like this if you want. So I've got that one all lined up, ready to go as well. Oh, it makes me really excited just seeing all these ready to go, because I really did enjoy working on it. And then for Christmas, Dan bought me a kit that he knew I really wanted. Okay, it's from Hoops and Crosses. I feel like I've shown this before, but it might have been on the vlogs. And it's using an illustration by Gary Ralphs, who is geeky little monkey. So he did an illustration which looks like this. Our lovely David Attenborough. And there is no picture in the kit of what the cross stitch looks like, rather strangely. I mean, obviously I've got the chart and everything, but there's no picture in the kit for the for how the actual cross stitch design looks, which is a bit strange, I thought, because the chart's over 2 pages. So you've got, I can't show it to you because obviously it's a chart, so you've got like the bottom half of the circle and the top half of the circle, but there's no kind of finished thing, which is what I really liked about the World in Stitches one, is she sent a picture of the finished design in a hoop, you know, that she'd done obviously as a sample, and that really helped me to sort of get an idea of how it was going to properly look at the end, whereas this doesn't have that. But I don't know if that's normal or not because I'm so new to cross stitch, but the whole design is just brilliant, and it's a full coverage one as well, which I've never done. So I'm really looking forward to starting my David Attenborough one. Oh, and I started, because of all these new crafts, on my needlepoint. So I went to the knitting and stitching show at the end of last year with my friend Becky, and I bought, when I was there, a needlepoint kit from Hannah Bass Needlepoint. Now, I didn't know what to expect from this. Needlepoint is something I tried very briefly as part of one of my sponsorships with Skillshare, and I really enjoyed it. I found it really relaxing. So when I saw these kits, they were quite expensive, these kits, as I recall, like over £20. I really wanted to buy one, so I chose, so here's what I chose. There was there's 4 different colourways, and I chose this one. And I've started working on it, but when I opened it up, I found it a bit confusing. So there is a bit of information about making stitches, and then you've got the chart, but the chart colours don't really correspond with the colours of the thread, so I had to kind of work that out, and nothing's labelled or numbered, so it's not like, you know, I know this thread follows that symbol. There isn't anything like that. It basically just came with the thread. They weren't messy like this, I've messed them up like that, and some of the colours don't quite match what they look like on the chart, so yeah, so that was a bit tricky to sort of initially work out, and then I couldn't quite work out where to begin, and then I just did a bit of counting and just got stuck in and thought, you're overthinking it. So this is where I am with my needlepoint. And it's so satisfying to see how that builds up. There's something just really, really fun about it. So I've just started the top of the L here, and this is the top of the O. And yeah, just doing a little bit every night and really enjoying it. It's quite hard sometimes to get the threads full. You have to really push and pull with the needle. So I don't do too much in one go because it tends to hurt your fingers. But yeah, so watch this space. Hopefully I'll have a little needlepoint to show you in the next episode. That leads me nicely on to works in progress, doesn't it? What a great segue. Work in progress needlepoint. Let's move into work in progress knitting and crochet. Or is it just knitting today? No, knitting and crochet. So the first one I wanted to talk to you about is my Litmus Cowl. Where is my Litmus Cowl? It's still in my bag. Hang on. Here it is. So I've made a bit of progress on this, so I thought I'd show it to you because I hadn't made progress for a while, but now I have. Now I'm halfway through a bit because I whipped it out yesterday when I was at the Waltham Abbey Wool show, because I was chatting with my friend Becky who wants to learn how to knit, and I was telling her about how I knit continental. So I whipped it out to quickly show her what that looked like, because she is a crocheter, a relatively new crocheter, and I was saying to her that if you're going to start knitting, it might be a good way to start because you hold the yarn in the same hand as you do when you're crocheting. So I'm just going to knit back because that'll be quicker than finishing the row, so I can hold it up. There we go. So I've made really good progress on this. This is all with minis from Henny Penny Makes, which and they were a gift from my friend Hilary, and I'm interspersing it with grey Cascade Heritage. I kind of wish I'd done the grey a little bit shorter than the minis themselves, but that said, I'm still loving how it looks. So I'm trying to do it in a kind of semi-rainbow order, except I forgot to put in the yellow. But yeah, it's only a sort of loosely based rainbow. I was a bit worried there's not a lot of contrast between the grey and this one, but looking at it on the camera, it looks quite good actually. There is a bit of a contrast, isn't there? So I'm kind of moving into blue. And yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. I've got lots of minis left to work through. My intention is to knit it long enough. So with the Litmus Cowl, you're knitting a big long tube, basically. You start with a provisional cast on. It's a pattern by Jude at Stranded Dye Works, by the way, and it's free. So yeah, you start with a provisional cast on and you just knit, knit, knit until it's long enough. And when it's long enough, you graft the ends together. And I would like it long enough to go round twice, basically. Oh, it's going to look good, isn't it? Oh, I really like that. Ooh, and it's going to be so warm because obviously it's a tube, so it's double thickness. And I think I've put maybe 4 or 5 colours in since I last showed it to you. So yeah, this is perfect vanilla knitting, perfect for when you just don't have the brains for anything else, or you're out and you're having a chat with someone, or you're on a car journey, obviously not driving if you're a passenger, or on a train or something. Perfect knitting. So yeah, really pleased with how that's coming out. So many people make it and seem to make it really quickly, but I never make anything quickly. I just pootle along at a snail's pace. So that's my first work in progress that I wanted to share. And then I wanted to share the dress. Now, I'm not going to stand up and put it on like I usually do. I just wanted to mention it. What I might do actually, rather than get this out and show it to you, I might get Lilia to do a bit of modelling for me and put it in on top of me talking. So the dress that I've made is the Mystique dress by Hook Loops, and it's a crochet pattern and it's absolutely beautiful, and I've been making it for quite a while. It was supposed to be for Lilia's birthday last March but it's taken a lot longer than that, and I finally finished it, other than just working out the length. I just maybe need a couple more rows for the length, and it's too big. The whole way through we were trying it on her and it looked fine, and it's just gaping at her back. So I think what we're going to do is create a kind of bustle with it, kind of like pin it and sew it so she's got a kind of ruched bit at the back, because I can't think that I could cut a section out vertically in crochet and not have it all be a disaster. So I think that's what we're going to do to solve the issue, but it's really disappointing because even if I had sort of knit it much smaller, she'd never get it on, because she would have to get it over her hips. So yeah, it's a bit disappointing because she waited a long time for it. So mind you, she is learning to crochet, so maybe she can make the next garment herself. Then I won't be a disappointment. So yeah, I just wanted to give you that update on the dress because I have mentioned it so much. And then my next work in progress that I've made a big amount of progress on over the past few weeks is my lobster hat. Really pleased with this, even though my colour work is somewhat, leaves a lot to be desired. So this is the Lobster on the Rocks hat. My pattern is so battered now. It's by Donna Frost Ritchie of, oh, what's her, Mrs. Knitter Designs. Here it is. It's a beautiful colour work hat, and it's got this beautiful seaweed crown. It's like nothing I've ever made before, and this was a kit, so I got all of the yarns. There's only 3 colours, the red, the blue and the green. And the reason that I was being quite slow with this is because, well, A, you need to concentrate when it's cut, well, I do when it's colour work, and B, the green and the blue are really close together in colour when you're working in low light, and I tend to do most of my crafting in the evenings when obviously the light is not good. But I have made progress on it over the past few weeks. So you can see here, I have completed all the lobsters. How cool do they, I did that. I knitted those lobsters with the stripes behind them. It's got an interesting sort of rib that slightly curls up, but when you put it on, it looks really nice. And there's even colour work in the rib. Look at that. I'm so pleased with it. So I'm on the decreases now. I'm a bit worried. Let me put it on to show you. So there was a lot of comments about it in the project pages about it being too big, and I was having that problem the first few times I tried to cast this on actually, and in the end I went down to very small needles. I think I'm on, I'll tell you in a minute when I take it off. But you can see I'm on the crown decreases, and I've still got quite a few decreases to do, so I think it is going to be a little bit protruding, and it's not like I can roll it up here because it's colour work, and I can't really pull it that much further down my head because I won't be able to see. So it's going to be a bit baggy, but if it's going to be unwearable because of that, once I've finished it, I will frog it back and just do a plain crown decrease a lot shorter, so that I will wear it, because I don't want to have a, there we go. I don't want to have a beautiful hat that I'm so proud of and never wear it because it's a bit too long. I'd rather make an attempt at it, see how it fits, and if it's not going to fit in a way I'm going to wear it often, then I will frog it back and just do a plain and shorter crown if that makes sense. And the reason I've made so much progress on this, actually this is going to be a perfect segue into the sponsorship for today's video, because the reason I have made so much progress on it is because I got a new light for crafting. So I am on fire when it comes to segues into different sections of the podcast today. Let's move on and talk about my new Serious light. So this video is sponsored by Serious Readers, and I am very, very picky about sponsorships on this channel. In fact, I've only ever had one sponsor before, as you know, Skillshare, and that is because I only want to work with brands who I know will genuinely be of interest to my audience, because that's what my channel is about. It's about sharing things that are of interest to other knitters, crafters and like-minded people. So when they got in touch, they got my attention for two reasons. One, they're a UK-based company and they manufacture and build their lights here in the UK, in Aylesbury, no less. And secondly, they offered me a solution to being able to craft more easily and for longer periods in the dark winter evenings and mornings, or any evenings and mornings for that matter, when the light is poor. So I was really attracted by that, and I thought, oh, more crafting, I'll take that. So they're very kindly sponsoring this video, and they've sent me my new Serious light, which is actually here, but I'm going to put some, oh, I've accidentally turned it on. Oh, there we go, look. A live demonstration before I show you the more professional video. So this is my Serious light. You can see that when it goes on, it doesn't really change the light around it. It changes the light directly under it. And this is what makes it so brilliant. You can adjust the width of the beam as well. So you can kind of hone in on things. That's really hard to demonstrate. I'll try and film it in a separate thing. And you can also turn it up and down. I tend to have it on quite a dim setting, and it's so easy it's so ergonomic. You just sort of grab the handle and the light switch is on it, so you can kind of pull it into position and turn it on in one easy movement. Anyway, enough of that little impromptu bit. I'm going to put a little bit of footage in to show you me using the light whilst I tell you a little bit about it. So the Serious Lights range uses daylight wavelength technology, which basically replicates the daylight spectrum as closely as technically possible. I chose a high definition floor lamp with a lightweight base in all black because, well, it looks good. It's their most powerful model, and it has the adjustable brightness, which I thought was really important for me to be able to do that. I've been using it now for about a month, and every time I do, I try to think, does the value I get from it match the price of it? Because I'm not going to lie, these lights are not cheap, but over the past month I've concluded that's because they're genuinely not cheap. They are not cheaply made. My light is sturdy, it's good to look at it, it's modern, it's beautifully built, the moving parts do just what I need them to do, and the light has given me the extra hours I've needed to work on things like a colourwork lobster hat, where the two of the yarns are so hard to tell apart in low light. It's just completely solved that problem, and also I've been able to work on my cross stitch in the evenings as well, which is brilliant because it's sort of opened up more crafting time for me to try this new thing that I'm really enjoying. So I went for the lightweight base so I could easily move it around. Sometimes I work on the sofa, and sometimes I work here on the armchair, and sometimes I even do my knitting or crochet in bed. Dan has even brought it into the kitchen when he's been working in there on a dull day. So it's really getting moved around, and it's so easy to move about. It's still a really sturdy feeling base. It's just light enough that you can easily pick it up and move it. I have a code for you. Use offer code SR208, and I'll put this in a pinned comment and in the description box and on the screen and everywhere. And you will get free international shipping and a free compact light valued at £150 with any purchase in the Serious Lights range. I have one of these compact lights, and I'm going to have to put some footage in because, well, I say I've lent it out, but basically it's been stolen. My mum was so impressed with it when she was here at Christmas that she's taken it home to her. So here's taken it home with her. So here's a little bit of footage of her in action with the light at her bungalow, and you can see it's getting some really good use there, and it's again really portable and really great for when you want to sit on the sofa and get some really direct light onto what you're working on, or you can take it to bed if you want to like have a read of your book and so on. So she's really getting a lot of use out of that. So thanks, serious readers, on behalf of my mother and I, for sponsoring this video and for allowing the progression of the lobster hat. I need a cup of tea after that. Right, you won't notice any time lapse, but I'm going to go and get a cup of tea and show you my new mug. This is my new mug. Now, obviously, I don't need a new mug. I've already got mug issues, but I bought one anyway. It was only £3 from Asda. Now, I love Alice in Wonderland, but I tend to like the more kind of Tim Burton-esque dark Alice in Wonderland aesthetic. I don't really like Disney Alice in Wonderland, but I really liked this one. It was kind of a cross almost between the two, and I was tempted actually to copy this because it's kind of like a sketch version. I was kind of tempted to try and draw it and copy it just for fun, which I might do actually. But yeah, I just liked it. It says in a world of my own as well, which I feel applies. It's too hot to drink. What's that? Some kind of bit of, you know, rubber sticky stuff that you get when you get a new credit card or a new debit card or something, you know, on the back of it. Someone's left it on the coaster for me to put my mug on. How lovely. Okay, I want to talk about project decisions. As it's the beginning of the new year, I went through all my works in progress that are still outstanding. I made a video last year, so I've been very open about my works in progress problems. And I went through some of the ones that are still outstanding and made some decisions. Not going to talk about all of those decisions, but I wanted to talk about some of them. So the first one I wanted to mention was the burgundy hat that I am making for my friend who's going through chemo. I am very slow, so by the time I finish this she's probably going to have a full head of hair again. But she can still have a hat. So I've been making it. I've already made her one crochet one, and now I'm knitting her one, and I'm using the softest yarn from Yarnsulike, lovely Marcia, who I saw yesterday. I was chatting to her yesterday at the Waltham Abbey Wool Show. There's a vlog coming, by the way. I did lots of filming yesterday. I've got no idea what I've got or what it would be like, but I have filmed a little vlog about visiting the Waltham Abbey Wool Show. I went with my friend Sarah and met up with my friend Kate as well. I had just the most lovely time. It's such a nice way to start the year. I picked up an extra ball of this from her yesterday. It's her Soy Cotton. It is so soft, so soft. So I knew that this was going to be perfect for a hat for someone with sensitive skin and no hair. And I've been making a very simple, basic hat for her. And it's lovely. It's so drapey and gorgeous, but I'm just worried that it's going to be a bit too thin, given that she's got no hair. She's got no other protection on her head. So I want to make it thicker. I'm going to hold the yarn double and make this into a thicker DK hat. So I bought an extra ball. So I've now got 3 balls of this, 50 grams Soy Cotton. So that should be enough, I hope, to make a double knit hat for my friend, which I think will just be a bit chunkier and warmer for her. So I'm going to frog this today and start on a DK one. Just a really basic DK hat. So that's one project decision. And by the way, that is living in my bag by Sarah Jo Makes, my Strictly bag. But you know, Strictly's not just for autumn, it can be all year. So that is in my Sarah Jo Makes bag. And then here, in my bag by Linda. I love this bag. Lovely tartan fabric. Linda's in Scotland and she makes these gorgeous bags. I have got a project that I have kind of shelved. So I decided to make a decision on it because I love the yarn. So I'm using Yarn Binder Knitting Swede. I don't think it dyes anymore. and I got 2 of her Spartan base 150 grams in the Burlesque colourway. It's 100% superwash Blueface Leicester. So I've got 2 of these. So I've basically got 300 grams. And initially when I bought it, I was going to make a cardigan, and then I decided to make the V-back tee along with my friend Sarah. But I've not been enjoying it, and I've been worried about how it's going to look and whether or not I'll wear it. You know, I mean, to me this is a lot, but I know for faster knitters this probably would be a day's work. But I'm just not sure it's going to be something that would flatter me. Oh, I don't know. I don't think I would wear it. So I'm going to frog it, and I'm going to make another featherweight cardigan. I've decided I'm going to make one. It's one of my favourite things that I've ever made, the featherweight cardigan. And I've made it quite small, and I'd like to make a big one, like a nice sort of baggy throw-on one. So I'm going to frog this. That's my decision. And knit a featherweight cardigan using that yarn instead. Next one I need to make a decision on is my Carla top. So I'm making this because my friend Sarah made one and I really liked it. And this is My Mama Knits yarn in Change Lobsters Again, I think. Yeah, Change Lobsters Again is the colour, eh? It was a gift from my friend Lorraine. I've got 2 skeins of this. And yeah, I was going to make the Carla top, which has kind of got a lace top. It's short sleeved and it's a knit top. But I'm not sure about the colours. I'm not sure about how they're knitting up. I'm not sure. Is that going to suit me? Actually, it looks like it would on the screen now, doesn't it? So what do you reckon? Should I keep going with this? Or is that going to look a bit weird? I'm not sure. I'm just not sure I like how the colours are kind of sitting together. I don't know. I don't know. So I think I'm going to frog that and maybe use a different yarn for that project. But then what am I going to use this yarn for? Oh, so that's a difficult decision, but I'm not sure whether to continue or not. Maybe I just should. Maybe I should just finish it and see how it looks. I could always give it to someone else when it's finished. I've also decided that this will be the year that I'm going to make the Dad Cornwall socks. So I've spoken about this a few times over the years. I was making a pair of socks in Cornwall on holiday the year my dad died. He was supposed to come with us on holiday, and last minute he couldn't come. He was really unwell, and that whole memory of that whole time, and particularly the end of that holiday, is just so traumatic and awful that I kind of couldn't work on the socks because they reminded me. And so many people suggested just get rid of the yarn. But I couldn't do that because there's something of my dad in this yarn. I've lost the ball band, so I can't actually remember who the yarn's. I think it's from Down Sheepy Lane. It was a present from my friend Sarah, and I think the colour is Sun, Sea and Shale. And it's a self-striping colourway. You can't tell because I've now balled it up where I frogged the socks I was working on. But there's too much of my dad and memories connected with the yarn. I almost can't give it away. So this is going to be the year I knit these socks. I'm just going to cast them on and I am going to knit them. Just going to knit them. That's it. Decision made. Hopefully by next time you might even see a bit of progress on them. I'm going to put this on the sofa now. If it's on the sofa, it's in progress. And then finally, I need to make a decision about what to do with my gorgeous Advent yarns. So I'm going to film my Advent yarns because I had 2.5 Advents this year. And I did a whole mini skeins video before Christmas and then completely ignored all my own ideas and advice and haven't made anything. Christmas was a really busy time and I wasn't going to put any pressure on myself to try and keep up with anything if I couldn't, and I couldn't, so I didn't. So I've got all of my sort of half Advent here, which was ones I'd saved from the previous year and also that were given to me by Suzanne of Green Lumpkin Yarns. These are all Christmas Carol themed. So I'm pretty sure with these I'm going to make myself some socks, or maybe a couple of pairs of socks. I think I've got enough. That can be my Christmas Carol socks to wear at Christmas. So I definitely know that's what I'm going to do with those. And then I've got my beautiful Green Lumpkin Yarns Advent from this year, which was Merry Music themed and was a beautiful tonal Advent. I loved it. So I'm going to lay that out to film it so you can see them all in a row, how they all looked. So I love these and I've got to make a decision about what to make with those. And then I've got my other precious advent from Bumblebee Acres Fibre Farm, which was the Bridgerton themed advent. So I don't know why I'm holding them up, because I'll put a thing on over me talking so you can see what they all look like. And I want to make sure that what I make with these are really genuinely things I'm going to use often. I don't want it to just be another scarf I put in a box and wear, I don't know, twice a year or something. I want it to be something I really, really use. So I'm really thinking hard about what I want to use them for. I'm pretty sure I want to use the Green Lambkin Yarns one for a crochet scarf that I spoke about in my minis video. Can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, so I'll put it on the screen. I'm pretty sure I want to use this for that. And then the Bridgerton one, I'm thinking I want to make some kind of reading blanket or shawl, something that I can have on my lap or over my shoulders when I'm reading. I just feel that that's what this lends itself to. So yeah, I need to make some decisions. Fun decisions, but decisions nonetheless. Tea. I always get to a certain point in the evening, the day before, where I start to look forward to the first cup of tea that I'm going to have in the morning. Even if I'm out or something, or doing something, like say I was out, not that I ever go out, but if I was out drinking champagne somewhere, I'd still get to a certain point in the evening where I start to think, oh, I'm really looking forward to my first cup of tea of the morning. I love tea. Okay, and finally, and then we will move on to the fabulousness that is the Strictly Sockalong for those of you that want to find out if you've won any prizes. Just to say that there's going to be a vlog coming. I know I already mentioned that because I went to the Wolverhampton Abbey Wool Show yesterday, so I'm going to make a little vlog about that and I will be sharing that. And I'm hoping to do, as usual, I'm aiming to do a lot more content or different, aside from the podcast this year. I've got a few ideas. And yeah, so hopefully watch this space in 2023. I'm hoping to bring you lots more interesting content as the year goes on. And just wanted to say thank you for being here for this past year, another year for everyone that's joined me over the past few months especially. I've gone over 21,000 subscribers, which just blows my mind. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here and watching, for your comments and your likes and subscribes and your Ko-fi donations and super thanks. I just everything that you do, even if you're just sitting watching on your telly, thank you. So, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you are thinking about doing it, because it really, really helps to grow my channel and I really, really appreciate it. So thank you. I just wanted to mention that because I don't feel I mention it enough sometimes. And oh yeah, and don't forget, if you're looking for a little bit of extra thing to watch in January to cheer you up, all my Vlogmas is there if you want to go back and watch it. I've been catching up on a load of Vlogmas in January. I've just finished all my friend Sarah at Yarn Mugs one, and I've watched all of Gainer's in January from Tales from Cuckoo Land, and I've now got to go back and finish my friend Becky at Back to Blighty. I didn't finish hers in December either, and it's a really nice way to spend January, is to sort of be looking at all the twinkly lights of December. I really enjoy it. Right, let's move on. Oh, goodbye. If you're leaving now, goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. But if you're hanging around for Strictly, let's get our spark along and let's get settled down to hand out some prizes. So another year of the Strictly Sockalong has come to a close. I finally locked the finished objects thread on Ravelry on Saturday, which was the 14th of January. So we were a full 2 weeks past the date I said I would probably do it. There were 297 finished Strictly socks in that finished objects thread out in the world. Strictly socks to brighten up your year. That's amazing, 297. And in the chat thread, which is still going by the way, there was 633 posts in there on Saturday, and there were 376 posts on the Instagram hashtag as well. So you've been really chatty and just really joining in, and it's been brilliant. Here in the UK on Strictly Come Dancing, our winners were Hamza, who danced with his professional partner Yavita. Hamza is a wildlife cameraman and we loved him. We were so glad that he won because he's such a gentle human. He moved to the Highlands of Scotland specifically so he could study the wildlife there. He's got some really interesting programs that he's made. We've been watching since Strictly ended his 4-part series called Scotland Lost in the Escape to the Wilderness. where he takes different people with him to different parts of Scotland to look at the wildlife. So that's really, really good. And he's got another one called My Life in the Wild, Scotland, My Life in the Wild, which we haven't watched yet, but we're definitely going to be watching that. Yeah, so we were really pleased that he won. It was a really good season. Really enjoyed it. Got to change my battery. Oh, rude. Doesn't my camera know that I'm in the middle of talking about the Strictly Sockalong? Goodness me. So I have 9 prizes to give out. I'm going to put the prize pic. Let me move slightly over here. Oh, how can I do this and still be comfortable? There we go. So I'm going to put the pictures up as I talk about the prizes, because if I have them here and I start holding them up, I'm just going to get carried away and we'll be here forever. So, and I will say now, all winners that I'm going to announce, please email me or drop me a message via Ravelry. All of my contact details are in the description box underneath. Make sure you contact me with your full name and your address, and we can get your prize sent out to you. So the first prize category that I'm going to do is the random one, which is the fabulous category, and this is where I draw randomly from across the Ravelry Finished Objects thread, the Ravelry chatter thread, and the Instagram hashtag. So I have done all of this. I used the random number generator. So the first one from the Ravelry chat on the random number generator was Tanya, What I Created Next. I'm so happy to see your name pop up, Tanya. She's in Lancashire. And Tanya, you have won. Oh, I feel very professional. Let me just get my laptop. Oops. You have won this beautiful yarn by Miranda May and a Christmassy reindeers bag by lovely Julie, who donated lots of bags to the podcast. So I thought they would be a lovely combination. So you've won that. Please get in touch and I will get that sent out to you. And I also drew number 634, which, as it happened, was the very last post as of Saturday. The very last one. What are the chances of that? And that was So Mama 5. That is Denise, and you're in Australia. And you have won this beautiful bag and matching pouch set from This Lizzie Sews. Also known as This Lizzie Knits on Instagram, and it is beautiful. She also sent me one with chickens on, which is spectacular. So you're very lucky indeed to be getting that sent to you all the way to Australia. So let me know your address. And then from the Ravelry Finished Objects thread, I drew another 2 winners. The first one was number 141, and that is Tony810. That is Tony in Queens in New York, which to me just sounds so exciting because that's the kind of place we hear about in films here. So you're in Queens in New York, and you have won some beautiful Pippin yarns dyed here in Kent in the UK in the cherries and berries colourway, and a lovely bag from Julie in this gorgeous little cute creatures print. So that's what you've won. And then I also drew from the FO thread number 206. That is Socks Knits, Heather, and you're on the Isle of Man. Lovely Isle of Man, I have been there. And you have won the mini set of 10 10-gram minis from Silly Little Sheep Yarns. That's Veronica. She's going to send that to you directly, but get in touch with me with your address and I can pass that on and make sure I put you in touch with each other. From the Instagram hashtag, I was really lucky because this is really difficult to draw random winners from the Instagram hashtag, because I bring up all the posts and there were 376, and the only way to find the number is to literally count up to the number that I've drawn. But the first number that random number generator gave me was number 29. So that was really easy, only you had to count up a little way. And that was Aldergoat. And you have won the Ducky Darlings yarn in the Imagine colourway, along with a lovely Christmassy bag from Julie with poinsettias on it. Yeah, so that can be on its way to you. I'm not sure where you are in the world, but get in touch and let me know. And then the next number it drew was number 372. So again, I only had to go to the most recent and count back 4. It was really easy. It was like random number generator was on my side. So that was Crafty Sue 33. And you have won this gorgeous Pippin yarns again, hand dyed here in Kent. I have got 2 of these which I'll be putting on the screen now. One is for me, one is for you. I can't decide which one I like better, so it's winner's choice. So Crafty Sue, choose which one you want and let me know when you send me your address. And I'm also going to throw in one of Julie's gorgeous bags, the glitter heart bag as well. So those are all the random ones in the fabulous category, but we still have another category, and that is cha-cha cheating. Because as we all know, one of the greatest things about the Strictly Sockalong is that we all get to be ridiculous and cheat in silly ways and be cunning and underhand. So I've been going through the hashtag, I've been looking everywhere, I've been looking at the hashtag Strictly Sockalong rules, which you can use if you've been specifically breaking rules. And there's been some top-notch cheating this year. Obviously I can't mention everyone, and so many of you have made me laugh so much. So from the Ravelry threads, the first one that caught my eye was Classy Crafter. Just joined the Sockalong. As my neighbour is a ballroom dancing teacher, I think I'm okay to crochet my socks when I see her car and know she's at home. And Campus and Angie. Second sock started and I have my first cheat. I've downloaded Rebecca Humphrey's book about her breakup from Sean Walsh after 2018 Strictly Carrying Ons. No idea who these people are though, by the way. That's the bit that really made me laugh. Her cheat is based on people and she's reading the book and she doesn't even know who they are. That really did make me giggle. And then LKSNDR. I was knitting on my socks yesterday, but I have a bulletproof reason. There was a disco on Fridays in the kindergarten where I work, and yes, we have a glitter ball. And then Zooey73, lovely Naja, she says, so since the premiere of Strictly was postponed due to the passing of Queen Elizabeth, I find it quite logical to replace one with the other and knit on my socks whilst we're watching The Crown instead. Excellent cheating. Then we have Going and Growing, that's Elena in Australia. I finished these Pokemon socks just in time to gift them on Christmas Day. My cheat is that the all over colourwork, and these are amazing socks, which I will have up here now. The all over colourwork using multiple charts was a challenge that really pushed me to improve my skills, just like the contestants on Strictly are pushed to improve their dancing. She also knit a pair of socks in 2x2 rib and pointed out that 2x2 is also a time signature in music, which you can dance to. And for her second pair of Strictly socks, her cheat was knitting on them while playing Dungeons and Dragons. And it says, my party is currently trying to work out maneuver 4 Eldritch horror creatures / old gods who are each embodied, stay with me, by a star. So in a sense, I was dancing with the stars whilst I knit them. That is, I mean, amazing cheating. All three cheats are amazing. Janet5960. I started this pair of socks on the 18th of September whilst on a Canary Island cruise. No Strictly for 2 weeks. My cheat is that I was on the same ship as the Strictly themed cruise I was on in 2016, where I danced with Giovanni in the Salsa Masterclass. Amazing. You could be allowed to knit on Strictly socks whenever you want, having danced with Giovanni himself. And then My Woolly Life, who is Di in the UK. I knitted these socks whilst travelling on the tram to work for the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games. I mean, that's amazing enough as a sentence. I was knitting on the tram on my way to work for the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games, in which I got a selfie with Ellie Simmons, who is competing in this year's Strictly Come Dancing. And then it says, each stripe on the sock represents each day on the tram when I was able to sit and knit. Amazing. And straight away, Di, you have won a prize for sure. And I'm going to have to give a prize to Elena, Going and Growing, because those two ladies have made, those are excellent cheats. I will tell you what you've won in 1 second. So Elena, you have won this gorgeous bag from Emma at Eldenwood Craft. I've got one exactly the same. It is beautiful, and I'm putting in a skein of some lovely chunky Noro yarn with it as well. So that is going to make its way to you when I've got your address. And Di, my woolly life, you have won one of my dodgy lobster bags and a beautiful skein of Strictly themed yarn from the lovely ladies at Wool Is the Answer. So that's your prize. And I also chose a prize from for cheating on Instagram. So there were some really good cheats on Instagram as well. Blue Moon Girl Crafts worked on hers whilst watching the Gymnastics World Championships as Matt Baker, who was a previous contestant on Strictly Come Dancing, is a commentator. Very good. Belinda's Baubles and her dancing baby socks, basically. Let me show you. I'm going to have to show you this without the sound because otherwise I'll get a copyright strike, but I'm going to go and find this video to show you. So if you can just imagine some lovely music. Socks. They're just so adorable. Anyway, her cheat was that she watched them whilst watching, she knit them whilst watching my Vlogmas. So even though they're tiny, she could get away with it. But I think just by making them dance in a miniature way in front of Hamza, who actually went on to win Strictly Come Dancing, was brilliant. So Belinda, I'm going to send you a prize, and you have won the lovely bag from Bellica Yarns and the yarn from Dina's Home of Crafts that I bought at the Southern Wool Show. So I'm going to send that to you if you can get in touch with me. All I can see on my phone now in the background is little dancing socks. I'm going to have to turn that off. But I also wanted to mention that Knits from My Sofa on Instagram mentioned she was knitting in Spain, where Gorka and the Paso Doble is from, and Stasia Creates in Russia made her socks in autumn. They look like autumn because they're in autumn colours. Strictly starts in autumn, therefore they look like Strictly. So I really like those cheats as well. So well done, everybody who's won a prize. Do get in touch with me as quickly as you can so I can get them sent out to you. All other prizes have been sent out now. I'd like to apologise to the Blackpool winner because I know it's taken me a little while because I was a bit waylaid by the strikes and Christmas, basically, but it's on its way to you now. And that concludes another year of Strictly Come Dancing. Woo! And that concludes this podcast as well. Thank you as ever to everybody who donated a very generous prize. It's so special that you do that. Thank you so much. And thank you to all of you who join in and just embrace it and just bring your silliness to it, because it really is one of the highlights of my year. It's so much fun. So that's it for another year. And congratulations to all the winners. And I'm going to say a proper goodbye now. Until I see you next time, happy knitting, happy crocheting. See you again soon. Bye. What was that?